you ever wondered how your body gets the energy to do things such as eating, working, walking, or even sleeping? Well, the process that you may be looking at is cellular respiration. The equation for cellular respiration is pretty much glucose plus oxygen, which then turns into carbon dioxide, water, and energy slash ATP. Cellular respiration is pretty much when you take the food that you eat and then break it down into ATP, which is also known as adenosine triphosphate, which is pretty much the energy carrier of the cell. ATP has three different types of cellular works. The first one being chemical. Chemical is like building a large molecule. The second one is mechanical. An example of mechanical is moving a muscle protein. And lastly, there's transport. Transport is sort of like pumping solutes across a membrane. Aerobic means with oxygen. This makes the Krebs cycle and electron transport chain both aerobic. Anaerobic means without oxygen, so glycolysis is anaerobic. So the first step is glycolysis, which happens in the cytoplasm. Glycolysis starts with glucose, which is 6-part carbon, 12-part hydrogen, and 6-part oxygen. 2 ATP molecules are then turned into 2 ADP molecules. At the same time, NAD+ is then turned into NADH. Lastly, 4 ADP molecules are then turned into 4 ATP molecules. At the very end of glycolysis, the glucose from the beginning is then broken in half into 2 pyruvic acids. One at a time, the pyruvate is taken to the mitochondrial matrix by NADH. This starts out the second part of cellular respiration, the Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle. One part of the pyruvate is then broken off and turned into CO2. Then NAD+ is turned into NADH, and the last 2 parts of pyruvate is then turned into acetyl coenzyme A. Then acetyl coenzyme A, or CoA, is brought to the cycle, which starts with 3 NAD+ turning to 3 NADH. Then FAD is turned into FADH. After that, ADP is turned into ATP. At the end of the cycle, it creates 2 carbon dioxide molecules. Then you repeat the process again for the other pyruvate molecule. In the end, you should end up with 4 sets of 2 electrons and 1 hydrogen. Those sets are then going to be taken one by NAD+ to the electron transport chain, which is located in the inner mitochondrial membrane. The electron transport chain, or ETC, includes the ATP synthase, proteins, and the phospholipid bilayer. During this process, the hydrogen is pumped through the proteins and goes down the ATP synthase, while the electrons travel through the phospholipid bilayer. In the end, ADP is then turned into ATP, while the hydrogen and electrons get turned into H2O. And there you have it, folks. You learned everything you need to know about cellular respiration.